Hello all, this video is going to be a revision for chapter 2 algebra. That's about all the kinds of inequalities. So I have tried my best to compile all the different kinds of questions wherever possible so that you will all have an idea on what kind of questions are there throughout the chapter. So let's get started, but before that, as I have always told you in one of the videos previously too, before you do anything you need to definitely think positive, that something good. If you think something you cannot do, definitely that's not going to help you in any way. So if you think positive, definitely that's going to help you do the thing what you want to do. And if you can do the thing what you want to do, you're going to of course love what you're doing. So that's the key which runs throughout anything which we are doing, right? So this is going to be chapter 2 and these are the concepts we will be using, and make sure that you have practice questions from each and every section which I'm showing you here. That's the first one is to graph and write inequalities. The second is add and subtract inequalities, then multiply and divide inequalities, then solve two-step and multi-step inequalities, and also to solve compound inequalities, not to forget to solve absolute value inequalities. So these are the concepts you have it throughout this chapter too. So make sure that you have revised and you have done and practiced all these questions which I have pinpointed here. So let's get started. But before that, definitely this is very important. Now, in chapter 1, we have used this table very often. Throughout the chapter we have used this, but still I'm showing you because even in inequalities we are going to use the same. To solve inequalities we also need inverse operations. So these are the inverse operations. So this for a quick review for you. The inverse of addition is subtraction, subtraction is addition. The inverse of multiplication is division, whereas division's inverse is multiplication. And then these are the integer rules. Now I'm not going to repeat these integer rules, but if you want, you can pause the video here and you can revise or read so that you will have a quick refresh of all the integer rules. Right, so it's time to go grab some papers and a pencil so that you can get started with the quiz. So you pause the video here, go get some papers and a pencil for you. All right, so if you have got some papers and pencil, here is the first question for you. Okay, so the first question is describe the inequality in words. Now before I start, let me tell you I have given the timer. If you think the timer is not enough, you can pause the video, you can solve and then you can check on the answers. So the first question for you is this one. Now I cannot read the question because that's how it will be written in words. So the options for you are all real numbers greater than or equal to 12, all real numbers greater than 12, than is missing, all real numbers less than or equal to 12, all real numbers less than 12. So your time starts now. So your time's up. So the correct answer for this question was the third one, all real numbers less than or equal to 12. That's because you can see the inequality symbol given is less than or equal to. So rather than saying m is less than or equal to, say, because m represents numbers, so all real numbers less than or equal to 12, right? So let's move on to the next question. Which is the first step to solve the inequality? You need to read the question. Which is the first step to solve the inequality? So the options are, this is the question, 16 is greater than 4m. So the options for you are add, subtract, multiply, or divide. So your time starts now. Okay, your time's up. So the correct answer for this question is, the last one, which is divide. Why is that divide? Because definitely the operation we are going to use to solve this question is divide, because it is 16 is greater than 4n, 4 multiplied n. So we are going to do the opposite or the inverse of multiply, which is divide. So 16 divided by 4 is the first thing we are going to do. The first step to solve this inequality is divide, or even if the question was what is the operation you're going to use to solve this inequality, it is going to be divide. Well, that's a good job if you have got the correct answer. Right, let's move to the next question. So the next question for you is, which number can be a solution for the given inequality? Which number can be a solution for the given inequality? A number line and the graph is given to you. So the options for you are 4, 5, 8 and 10. And your time starts now. Your time is up. So the correct answer for this question is 8. Okay, why do we say that 8 can be a solution for the given inequality? You can see that in the graph which is given, the graph starts from 5, but 5 cannot be a solution. So, because it's not colored. If it was colored, 5 can be a solution if the circle was colored. But 5 is not a solution because the circle is not colored. But starting from 5, it's moving till 9. So, 6 can be a solution, 7 can be a solution, 8 also can be a solution, whereas 9 also can be a solution because the circle is colored, which means the inequality says that the solution 9, the inequality will have a solution of 9 as well. 4 cannot be, from the options, 4 cannot be an answer because the graph doesn't touch anything on 4. 5 cannot be, because I just explained why 5 cannot be a solution, because the circle over there is not colored. 8, yes, because the line is passing over 8, and 10, again, same like 4, it doesn't touch the number, so it is not a solution. Well, if you have got that answer, that's an awesome work you have done. Right, let's move on to the next question. Describe the solutions of this graph. So you have to describe the solution for this graph. This is the graph for you. So your answers are all real numbers less than 4, all real numbers less than or equal to 4, all real numbers greater than 4, or all real numbers greater than or equal to 4. So you have to describe the solution for the graph. So your time starts now. So your time's up. Right. So let's see the answer for this question. The answer for this is going to be the first one. Why is it all real numbers less than 4? You can see that the graph has started from 4 and the circle is not colored, which means all real numbers, it cannot be 4. If it was circle, if it was colored, it will be written as all real numbers less than or equal to 4. It's not colored, so it's all going to be less. How do we know it's less or greater? The arrow is pointing to the lesser numbers. You can see 3, 2, 1, 0. It's all showing the lesser numbers than 4. So it becomes all real numbers less than 4. So if you've got the answer right, that was a good job. So let's move on to the next question. So the next question says solve the inequality. So this is the inequality given for you. So your choices are D is greater than 2 1/4, D is less than 5 over 4, D is greater than 7 over 4, or D is less than 7 over 4. So your time starts, oops, okay, well, if you've seen that, it's you shouldn't be saying that. Your time starts now, but before that, let me do something. So your time starts now for that question. If you think the time is passing too fast, you can pause the video and you can solve the question and then you can find out the answer. Okay, so you have 2 seconds, 1 second, and your time is up. So let's look at the correct answer. So the correct answer for this question is going to be the third one, which is D is greater than or greater than 7 over 4. Is that right? D is greater than 7 over 4. Okay, let's see why is that the correct answer. So if you have got that right, well, you are doing a very good job. So let's move ahead and check why is that answer in that way. Okay, so the question here was 2 is less than D plus 1 over 4. So the first thing we need to do is, of course, move the 1 over 4 to the other side. So that becomes a negative 1 over 4, right? Minus 1 over 4. So you have to now subtract 2 from 1 over 4. So to do that, in fact, the question will be written in this way: 2 over 1 minus 1 over 4. But you know that you cannot subtract unless the two denominators are not the same. So to make them the same, we have to multiply like the numerator and the denominator with 4. So if you would multiply the numerator and denominator with 4, that would give you an 8 over 4 minus 1 over 4 is less than D. Now that you have both the denominators the same, we can minus. So 8 minus 1 is going to give you 7, and 4 we do not subtract, the 4. So the denominator remains the same. 7 over 4 is less than D. This is the answer. So if I would write it in the other way, keeping the variable always in front, it's going to be D is greater than 7 over 4. So this is how we got the answer as D is greater than 7 over 4. Right. So let's move to the next question. You have to write the compound inequality shown by the graph. You have to write the compound inequality shown by the graph. This is the graph, and the answers for you are negative 4 is greater or x is greater than 7. Negative 4 is less than x, which is less than or equal to 7. 7 is less than x less than negative 4. Negative 4 is less than x less than 7. So your time starts now. Okay, so your time is up. So the correct answer for this question was the last one, which is negative 4 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 7. Well, that's a well done job. Right, now why did we choose that answer? Because you can see that the compound inequality, both of them will be, equal to, because both of the circles have been shaded, right? So it starts from negative 4 and it ends at 7, between 6 and 8, which is 7. So definitely, you have to write the compound inequality with the lesser number in front. So negative 4 is less than or equal to x, or any other letter you can have, less than or equal to 7. So this is how you need to write it. So let's move on to the next question. So this is solve 16 minus 5a is less than or equal to negative 9. So the options are a is greater or equal to 5, a is less than or equal to 5, a is less than or equal to negative 5, a is greater or equal to negative 5. So your time starts now. Your time is almost up. I think that time was more than enough. Now, if the time is not enough, do pause the video, solve the question, and then listen to the answer. Right now, if you have solved the question, the correct answer for this question is A is greater than or equal to 5. Now, let's see why is that A is greater than or equal to 5. So okay. I forgot to activate that. So a very good job done there. Let's see the answer. Now the question here was 16 minus 5a is less than or equal to negative 9. So which means we are going to move the 16 to the other side. So that will become negative 16 as well. So negative 9 minus 16. So next step is minus 9 minus 16 is going to give you a negative 25 because both of them are negative, and also the sign will be there. Both of them are negative. That means we'll add the numbers, but the sign remains there. The next step is we are going to remove this negative 5 from A. So to remove that, definitely we need to divide. But hold on, there is a rule in inequalities that if you're dividing or multiplying by a negative number, you need to flip the sign. So here we need to flip the sign. Less than or equal to becomes greater than or equal to. So A is greater than or equal to negative 25 over negative 5 divided by negative 5. So that gives us A is greater than or equal to 5 because negative 25 divided by negative 5 will give us a positive 5. So the answer for this question was A is less than or equal to negative 5. So the rule to remember here is if you're dividing or multiplying by a negative number, then you need to flip the sign, where just like what we did here. Right, let's move on to the next question. So you have to solve this inequality. So the options for you are x is greater than 5, x is less than negative 5, x is greater than negative 5, x is less than 12. So let me start the timer for you. Your time starts now, but then if it's not enough, do pause and then do the question, and then you can look out for the answer. So your time has already started. So your time is almost up. Yes. Okay, so the correct answer for this is x is less than negative 5. So first let's see how it did that end up in x is less than negative 5. So if you have got that answer, that's very good, right? So the question here was in the form of parentheses. So you know, to solve that, you first of course need to multiply each term inside the parentheses. So 6 multiply x will give you 6x, 6 multiplied by 2 will give you a 12. So this is the inequality we are going to solve. So the next step is for x, we are going to solve the x's. So to solve the x's, I need to move the 6x to that side, and I'm going to move the positive 2 to the other side. So both of them will change to negative. So 4x minus 6x will give us a negative 2x. 12 minus 2 will give us a 10. So now again we need to get rid of this negative 2. Now, like the previous question, here also the sign is going to flip because we are going to divide the 10 with negative 2. So if you're dividing a number by a negative number, or if you're multiplying a number by a negative number, then the sign will flip. So x is greater than 10. My negative 2x is greater than 10 will become x is less than 10 divided by negative 2, which is x is less than negative 5. Now just listen to this part. If there was no negative sign for 2 and there was a negative sign at 10, so the inequality will be 2x is greater than negative 10. So do you think you need to flip the sign when you are dividing negative 10 with 2? No, you don't. Because if you're dividing or multiplying a number by a negative number, then you flip. But if negative 10 was negative here and 2 was not negative, you will not flip the sign. Write that down and see what I have repeatedly told. You will understand what that means. So let's move on to the next question. Which graph shows the inequality -4 less than n less than 3? So the options for you are given here. These are the 4 options given for you. Let me start the timer for you. So your time starts now. So you've got 10 seconds more. 5, 1, and your time is up. Right. So the correct answer for this question is the last one. Okay, now what did I say? Now that's a good job, like it's a very good job if I've done all, if I've got all the answers correct until now. How do you know that this is the graph for this in particular inequality? First of all, you need to see that the graph will not have the circles colored because it says only less than. So the circles which are colored will not be the solution for this inequality. So this is colored, it goes completely out of this doubt. This means or, because you can see that the two inequalities have been separated here. So by now you know that if two inequalities have been separated, there will be the word or to describe the inequality. Okay, so this also is going to be an or, so the only option is here. So it starts from -4 and ends at 3, and the circles are not shaded. So let's move on to the next question. Solve 4 is less than 2x minus 1 and less than or equal to 10. Now there's a compound inequality. So the answer options for you is 5 is less than x or less than or equal to 5.5. 2.5 is less than x is less than or equal to 5.5. 2.5 is less than or equal to x less than or equal to 5.5. 2 is less than x less than or equal to 11. So let me start the timer for you. The time starts now. You've got around 20 seconds more. Five seconds more. 3, 2, and 1, and your time is up. Okay, now time is up. So the correct answer for this question is 2.5 is less than x, which is less than or equal to 5.5. Well, you are doing a great job till now. Even if you're not getting the answers, it's perfectly fine. You're getting to know how to do the questions, so you will not make the same mistake the next time. So let's go on and check how did we get this answer. So the question was this. So definitely we are going to separate this compound inequality into two different kinds of inequalities. Compound inequality means two inequalities written as one. So to separate them, we have to first move. We have to say 4 is less than 2x minus 1 becomes one inequality, and the next inequality is 2x minus 1 is less than or equal to 10. So we are separating the inequality in two parts. So to solve this will become plus 1. So my -1 will become +1. So 4 plus 1 is 5 is less than 2x. So you have to divide 5 by 2 to make it less than x. So 5 divided by 2 is going to give you 2.5 is less than x. Now in the next side we have 2x is less than or equal to 10 plus 1 because it's -1. So when it moves to the other side, it becomes plus 1. So 2x is less than or equal to 11. x is going to be less than or equal to 11 minus 11 over 2. So x is going to be less than or equal to 5.5. If you divide 11 by 2, you will be getting 5.5. So now we have to see whether we can write this as a compound inequality. You can see that any compound inequality is always written with the less sign or less than or equal to sign, never with greater sign or greater than or equal to. Compound inequality will always be written with the lesser or lesser than equal sign. So 2.5 is less than x. So you can simply replace x is less than or equal to 5.5 here. So the inequality becomes 2.5 less than x less than or equal to 5.5. This is how you need to solve compound inequalities. Right, let's move to the next question. Now this is absolute value inequalities. So this is the absolute value inequality given for you, and the options for you are given as this. So if you think the time for this question is not enough for you to solve, definitely pause the video and solve the question, and then you can choose the answer and go ahead and listen to the question explanation. But let me start the timer, so your time starts now. So you've got 10 seconds more. If the time is not enough, do pause the video. Okay, so your time's up. Let's see what's the correct answer. The correct answer is the first one, which is x is less than or equal to -1, or x is greater than or equal to -8. So this is your appreciation. You're doing a really good job there. Right, so let's see how can we get this answer. So the first thing, of course, you know that we need to get rid of any number which is outside the absolute value inequality. So here there is 5 outside the absolute value inequality, which means we are going to remove this 5. So to remove it, we need to bring it to the other side. That becomes a -5, right? So if you solve that, that's going to be 14 minus 5 is going to give you a 9. So this is the absolute value inequality for you. Now in absolute value inequality, again you're going to have two possibilities. The first one is going to be the same one as in the question. So the first one is going to be -2x plus 7 is greater than 9. But the next one, your sign flips as well as the number flips. So greater than or equal to becomes less than or equal to, and +9 becomes -9. This is the speciality of absolute value inequalities. So to give the two possibilities, you need to flip. The one is going to be the same as the question. In one, and the other one, you will flip the sign as well as the number. Flip the number in the sense, if it's negative, you will make it positive. If it's positive, you will make it negative. So let's go on and see how do we solve this. So -2x is greater than or equal to 9 minus 7. The +7 becomes -7. So -2, and this side, -2x is less than -9, -7, because it's +7, so when it moves to the other side, that becomes -7. So -2x is greater than 2, which means x is going to be less than or equal to -1. Again, you can see that we had to divide 2 by -2. So if you have the number which you are dividing by is a negative number, then we need to flip the sign. So here greater or equal to became less than or equal to -1, because 2 divided by -2 becomes -1. On the other side we have -2x is less than or equal to -16. Again, the sign flips as well, because we need to, of course, divide -16 by -2. So if we are dividing -16 by -2, that will be x is greater than or equal to 8, because -16 divided by -2 will give you a +8. So now can we write this in a question? can we write this solution as a compound inequality? Definitely not, because if you would flip this, that will become -1 is greater than or equal to x. So -1 is not going to be greater than 8. That's impossible. So we use the word or to separate the inequalities which we cannot write as a compound inequality. Right. So the next question is this one. So you have to solve this. So the options given for you are no solution, 3 is less than or less than x less than 5, all real numbers, or x is less than 3 or x is greater than 5. So your time starts now. You've got about 15 seconds more. Okay, the last 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and your time's up. So the answer for this question is it does not have a solution. Why is that? Let's check it out. Now this is the inequality. Of course, you have to get rid of the numbers which are outside the absolute values. So first there are two numbers. You can say this is 2 multiplied and also plus 7. So let's get rid of them one by one. So first let me get rid of this positive 7. So that becomes -7 on the other side. So the inequality will be 2 absolute value of x minus 4 is less than -2. Now again, definitely we need to get rid of this 2 as well. So to do that, we are going to divide that with -2 with 2, right? So that is going to be x is less than or equal to -1. Okay, so well, I had to change the sign here because I forgot to change it because we are dividing it. Okay, so well, you did not have to change anything there. I myself got confused. Okay, so here, once you do 5 minus 7 is -2. Now, well, from the statement itself, you can find out, you can make out that this inequality is not going to be true. Why is that? Just say 2 is 2 and then x minus 4. Say any number can be x minus 4, right? So how come when there is a positive 2 here, how can that be less than -2? It is impossible for any value of x. It's going to be an impossible one. Even then, even if you move the 2 out of that place, even then that's going to be x minus 4 of absolute value is going to be less than -1, which is a false statement. Again, how can any value that's subtracted from 4 be less than -1? It's impossible. So from this place itself, the statement becomes false. So when there is a false statement, that means you will have no solution. But if the statement is a true statement, for example, say if you get an inequality, say 3 is greater than -1. So that's a true statement. So then it becomes all real numbers. But in this case, it is no solution because the statement itself is false. Even you solve this, you're not going to get any correct answer. You can go ahead and solve and see by giving two possibilities and solving and check whether the answer you're going to get is true or false. Definitely it's going to not be going to be a true statement. So it's going to be no solution. So, well, that's all. Yay, you did it. So I can see your condition is also the same as that thing which is dancing on the screen right now. Well, go, but you have done a great job by answering all the questions. So it's time for you to go and take some rest. So till we meet again in the next video, well, I would not say no, keep practicing, but yes, if you have time, do practice. So till we meet again, bye.